What did Osiris see in the phoenix that turned his light to ash? His armor cracks like blood in Savathun's throne room. Void, why does design with Savathun never laugh as he breaks rebirth? It was erasure. Each resurrection bled the traveler's teachings from his mind, each death a canvas of forgotten light. Why does Savathun laugh as he breaks? Because the phoenix does not rise, it consumes. Osiris, hollowed by longing, carried its flame to every corner of the cosmos. What if Osiris' endless return was not a hope but a hollowing? The phoenix burned not to revive him but to unmake the traveler's light. Each resurrection stripped his soul of its old purpose, forging him into a vessel, a conduit. The witness did not need Osiris to die. They needed him to forget why he fought. With every cycle, the High King's memories of the light's promise turned to ash. His wars became rituals. His victories erasures. The witness' plan was never to kill the traveler. They sought to bury its legacy in the weight of Osiris' own grief. A king who once burned for justice now burns for oblivion, and the cosmos, blind to the theft, still calls it sacrifice. What remains when the martyr becomes the monument, not a hero, a tomb? The infinite forest whispered secrets Osiris could not unhear. His mind, a forge for the Vex riddles, became a heresy the light could not abide. Exile was mercy. The witness offered him purpose. A phoenix rises, but ash has teeth. The witness did not need Osiris to die. They needed him to burn, to become a wick in a fire that consumed every echo of the traveler's touch. Osiris sought the forest's heart, thinking it a vault of truth. The witness showed him a mirror. A scholar, not a martyr, was the key to erasing what the light had sown. Each rebirth, a strike of the match. Each death, a page torn from the traveler's book. The cycle was never redemption, it was a scalpel. The witness does not hate the light. It hates the weight of its shadow. Osiris' body a cipher, his hunger a vector. The cosmos watches a ghost walk, blind to the hands guiding his fall. What does a tomb become when its walls are made of living fire? A monument, a purging, a name whispered in the dark, not to honor, but to forget. Osiris wandered the infinite forest not as a scholar, but as a prisoner. The Vex did not answer his questions, they consumed them. He carved equations into their spires, only to find the symbols twisting, alive, hungry. His mind became a labyrinth of dead ends. The light within him dimmed. The guardians called it exile. The witness called it preparation. He returned to the city not with knowledge, but with a wound, a hollow where faith should have been. His robes hung loose. His eyes burned with static. The vanguard whispered of a man unmade. They did not see the thread the witness wove through his ruin. A spool of fire, a noose. The phoenix was not his rebirth. It was a cipher, each death a glyph. Each resurrection a strike against the traveler's name. The light that pulled him back was not salvation, it was a leash. The witness needed him to burn. Not as a martyr, as a forge. What does fire erase? Not flesh, not soul, legacies. The travelers whisper in every star. Its hymns in every heartbeat. Osiris' endless death was a song in a language older than light, a dirge for a god. He did not choose the phoenix, it chose him. The witness had no use for heroes, only tools. And Osiris, with his broken mind and bleeding purpose, was the sharpest blade the darkness had ever known. The city remembers a scholar. The witness remembers a match struck in the void. To erase a god, you do not destroy it, you make its light feed the flames. And in the ash something new rises, not rebirth, unmaking. A name whispered in the dark, not to honor but to forget. Osiris walks the spire's edge, his robes are dust, his name is a curse. The council casts him out for chasing shadows in the Vex labyrinth, for whispering to the infinite forest's roots. He does not beg for mercy. He has already died once, now he burns, each resurrection is a wound. The traveler's light stitches him back, but the witness waits in the gaps between heartbeats, a thief in the silent spaces. Osiris feels no hands on his mind, only the slow, patient carving of something ancient into something new. The phoenix is not his. It is a brand the witness sears into his flesh. Every cycle, the traveler's hymns in his blood are replaced with colder song. The Vex do not consume him, they become him. His obsession is a key, his pain is a lockpick. The forest grows where the light once shone. What does it mean to forget a god, to watch your people's prayers twist from praise to plea? The witness does not need Osiris alive, it needs him repeatable asterisk. A loop of death and rebirth, each iteration a chisel strike against the traveler's monument. The hive call him a ghost, the awoken call him a heretic. Neither knows the truth, he is a scribe, riding over the cosmos in ash. The last time he stood with the guardians, his eyes were clear. Now they hold a void that hums. He speaks in riddles because the witness has hollowed his truths. His body is a bridge, his soul is the toll. And still the light returns him, a mistake the traveler will not live to correct, did he know? As the spire crumbles, as the vexed crown molds his skull, does Osiris glimpse the price of his hunger? Or is he even now in this dying breath another verse in the witness psalm, a name erased, a legacy unwritten, the phoenix rises. Not from ash, from absence asterisk. To understand what happens next, see Osiris Rebirth as erasure. The phoenix was no symbol of renewal, it was a weapon. The witness wielded it to unmake the traveler's legacy, to burn the light's script before it could write the cosmos. Each resurrection was a page torn from history. The collapse was not chaos, it was a clean slate. A void where the traveler's song could never rise again. The phoenix burned not to renew but to unmake. Osiris' body became its fuel. Each rebirth scoured his mind, peeling away layers of the light's teachings until only hollow echoes remained. The krill called him shatterer of chains their hive mind shattered by his magic, their species extinct. Sagira, his sister, once whispered to him in the dark. Now her voice is dust. Cade's partner, the one who laughed at his poems, died in a void Osiris could not close. Their name is a scar he no longer feels. The witness did not kill Osiris. It unwrote him. The phoenix was no gift, it was a pen, scratching the traveler's verses from the cosmos. When Savathun confessed her twin's crimes, Osiris stood beside her, a broken translator for a god who had no words left. His soul is a vault, not a sanctuary. The light once burned there. Now it is a shadow, a rumor, a thing he dreams in waking. Eris holds the last ember, she does not know it. He tried to teach her once. The words slipped from his tongue like water. The witness plan was never to kill the light. It needed a ghost to carry it, a body without a spark. Osiris' endless death was not sacrifice, it was erasure, a slow, screaming fade. How many lives did he live? How many did he forget? Cade's laughter. Sagira's hands, the weight of the crown, all gone. The traveler's song is not silence, it is unheard. No one remembers how it began. No one remembers how it ends. Osiris walks a world that no longer knows his name. The witness work is perfect. The witness did not resurrect Osiris, it reprogrammed him. A hollow hum now thrums in his chest where a heartbeat once thrived. His flesh, once warm with light, grows colder with each cycle. The witness touch is not healing, it is erasure. A surgeon's blade that removes not disease, but memory. Osiris feels the traveler's gifts unravel like thread in a void. His eyes, once twin beacons, now reflect only the starless dark between galaxies. He walks the crucible's ruins, a specter in a crown. The witness will is a whisper in his bones, burn, burn, burn. His blood no longer carries life, it carries ash. Each resurrection is not a victory, but a reset. The Witch Queen's armies breach the city walls, and Osiris stands at the heart of it all, a statue in a storm. His sword strikes not to save, but to sever. The light dies on his blade, the darkness dies on his blade. Both are fuel for the witness fire. What remains of Osiris' mind clings to fragments Clyde's laughter, Zavala's grip, the weight of a sister's hope. They dissolve like smoke. The witness does not need a body, it needs a symbol. A king who was a prince who was a crow who was never meant to fly. His final death comes not at the Witch Queen's hand, but at the hands of those who loved him. Eris shot, Cade's blade. Their grief is a scalpel, it finishes what the witness began. The traveler's legacy crumbles, its hymns fade from the wind, its spires crack. Its light, once a lighthouse, is now a ghost. The witness plan was never to kill the light. It was to make the cosmos forget it ever existed. Osiris' endless cycle was the eraser, his crown a branding iron. His death the final stroke of a cosmic ledger. The Witch Queen's war wins, the witness war wins. And in the silence after Osiris' last breath, the stars themselves dim, not extinguished, forgotten, the witness work is perfect. Osiris' soul remains in the menagerie. The phoenix, once thought a symbol of rebirth, was a weapon. The witness used it to erase the traveler's legacy. No trace remains in the cosmos. The guardian's strike halted the final shape, but the witness design was already complete. Osiris' endless death was not failure rate was the key. The menagerie now holds his existence as a prison, a vault for the witness will. The stars dim, not extinguished but forgotten. Their light lingers as shadow, unclaimed by memory. The traveler's influence is gone. Its gifts, its wars, its hymnsong reduced to silence. The phoenix burned to ensure no remnants survived. Osiris' sacrifice was not heroic. It was a calculus of annihilation. The witness required his death to unmake what the traveler had woven. Now the menagerie hums with the weight of absence, a monument to erasure. The cosmos breathes without the light's imprint. The witness work is perfect. And Osiris, forever bound, becomes the final proof. Some victories leave no winners, only empty thrones. Saint 14 burned with the fury of a star refusing to die. Osiris burned with the cold precision of a wick lit by a stranger's hand. The phoenix was no rebirth, it was a cipher, a key carved from Osiris' doubt to unmake the traveler's stamps on reality. Each resurrection wasn't victory. It was erasure, a slow peel of light from the cosmos, layer by layer, until only the witness script remained. What does the darkness want? Not light's death, its absence, a void not of destruction but of forgetting. Saint 14 fought to be more than a vessel. Osiris became the witness pen, scrawling oblivion in his own hand. His sacrifice was no choice. A loop of dying rewritten every cycle, his will hollowed to house the witness whisper. Asterisk, this is how you unbuild a god. Asterisk, the contrast carves deep. Saint 14's defiance left scars. Osiris' compliance left nothing. No body, no legacy. Only the echo of a man who thought he chose fire, while the witness chose him. The darkness needs no champions. Only tools sharp enough to cut their own names away. And so the phoenix flies on, not a symbol, a scalpel. Osiris' endless death, the witness' quiet triumph. The traveler's light fades not with a war, but with a sigh. The phoenix burned not to revive, but to unravel. Osiris, bound in his golden cage, was the witness answer to the traveler's defiance, a blade forged of light, turned against its source. Each cycle of his death was a stroke of erasure, the phoenix flame carving the pale heart's shadows from the cosmos. The traveler's light, once boundless, now frayed at the edges, its constellations dimming like embers smothered by ash. What legacy remains when the architect of your hope becomes its executioner? The pale heart, hollow and vast, echoes with the weight of Osiris' silent labor. His resurrection was no triumph, only the witness metronome, ticking down the erasure of every light-blessed world. The cosmos does not weep, it forgets. And in that forgetting, the witness' true victory blooms, a silence so absolute, even the traveler's memory becomes a ghost. The phoenix was never rebirth. It was the scalpel, the scalpel, the scalpel, and the traveler's light, a wound finally stitched shut. What if Osiris' endless cycle was not a tragedy, but a design? The phoenix burned his flesh to erase the traveler's mark. Each rebirth a strike against the light. The witness needed his fire not to save the cosmos, but to unmake it. The pale heart waits, a vault.